Hello, everybody. Hello to all of our members all over the world. Hi, my name is Ali, and for those of you who don't know me, I am the marketing director with the Women's Travel Club. It has been a little while since you've seen my face, as I have been touring India. Luckily, I got to go on my 25th birthday, so that was the beginning of my year. I was gone for a bit. I'm back now, and I'm ready to talk about the amazing experiences I had, tell you all of the cool stories, and show you some pictures and videos that I think you might be really interested in. But before we get into my India adventure, there's a couple of promotions and deals going on with the Women's Travel Club that I would like to make you aware of. So without further ado, I will let you know that our 2 tours this year that are guaranteed and still have some spots available would be our Ireland 2024 tour going out this September, and our Salkantay trek to Machu Picchu, which is also in September. So if either of those destinations pique your interest, definitely head over to our website because we've got some spots available for you guys, and it would be an incredible opportunity. I mean, I lived in Ireland for 2 years, and I will be the tour host for the Salkantay trek. So clearly I have a personal connection with these tours. However, I think that they are amazing journeys, great inclusions for you waiting. So if you want to head over and check those out, guaranteed and ready for you. To move forward, our Champagne Barge cruise going out in May 2025. That is a $300 promotion that has been provided to us by the supplier, which is amazing. It is a limited time only. However, it's a great trip that you can piggyback onto our Paris trip. We have a 4-day getaway happening in Paris that ends as our Champagne Barge cruise begins. So if France has always been your cup of tea and you really want to get the most out of your experience, enjoy a $300 off promotion for a limited time for the Champagne Barge cruise happening next year. Again, this was granted by our supplier, so it's a limited time only, but it is a great deal. So definitely head over to our website if you would like to check that out. Talking about France, we also have another supplier promo that has been granted to us for our Provence Barge Cruise that's happening this July 2024. Our Provence Barge Cruise is an interesting opportunity because it is a private barge. That means that it will only be Women's Travel Club members on this ship, or boat, I should say. So that is another $300 promotion off when you book the Provence Barge Cruise right now. As well, our Tanzania Safari has an amazing $400 off promotion granted by the supplier for September 2024. So some really great deals happening here that I wanted to make you guys aware of. Moving forward with that, in 2025, we have our Switzerland rail tour that is a guaranteed departure and has spots available, as well as our Madagascar tour for October next year. It's a guaranteed departure as well. So if you're interested in any of those, hop on over to the website. And finally, to wrap it all up, if you're looking for a bit of a longer vacation and you love cruising, and you've always wanted to explore Oceania, our Australian cruise has an amazing $130 deposit right now for a limited time, departing for 28 days from November to December. And again, it's only $34 to hold your spot. So some really great promotions happening here that I think anybody should take advantage of. But moving forward, we are here to talk about my experience in India. I went from May 3rd to the 14th, which happened to be my 25th birthday trip. So that was super special. I've got some great pictures and videos here to show you guys. I'm really excited to get into it. So before I bring the slideshow up, I'm going to put on a little short clip for you guys to get a sneak peek into what I saw, and then we'll roll into the slideshow. So let's start with the video.
Assistant in a dream. Oh.
Okay, so that was a little something I put together from various clips I took throughout the journey, of course. That last shot you there was a aerial shot of the city of Bundi, which is dubbed the Blue City for a reason. Such an incredible view. But yeah, let's get into the slideshow. I'd love to share my stories with you and my pictures. So let's discover India together. So first of all, welcome back. Welcome back to Travel Talks. I'm really excited to be back showing you guys all these amazing adventures we have planned for you, sharing all of these beautiful pictures and whatnot. A couple places that you're about to see would be Karauli, Ranthambore, and Agra. Before we get into it, I do want to apologize for any of my mispronunciations. I have some spelling here that you'll see me referencing to. However, I might not get it right every time. So. Just so you know, upcoming in India in 2025, we have 2 beautiful tours, I think pair very nicely together as well. From March 2nd to the 15th, we have a cultural tour for the Holi Festival, one of the most respected festivals, highly anticipated in this country. Lots of colors, sounds, food, kind of hits all 5 of the senses, if I'm being honest with you. And then that concludes on the 15th. And then rolling over to the 17th, we're starting the India Tiger Safari. Now, without giving away too much, I do have to say that these pictures basically encapsulate what you're to expect. However, the Tiger Safari for me personally was probably one of the most heartwarming experiences I've ever had. So I'm really excited to get into that. But lots of culture to be experienced here, lots of wildlife. But yeah, let's roll forward into the slideshow so you can kind of gauge what you should expect if you want to take either of these tours or if you want to do both. So just to start, how I prepared for this trip. To be honest, I wish I had prepared a little bit more. It was a major culture shock as somebody coming from Toronto, Canada to Jaipur in India and Agra. So I tried to prepare as best I could. However, with travel, there's always unexpecteds and you kind of have to take the punches and roll with them or else you're never going to have a good time. But I, of course, had an amazing time. And these are the 4 little tips that I want to tell you before you make the decision to go. So I know a lot of people say bottled water is good to go, and it is for the most part. However, if you're somebody like me who has a little bit of a sensitive stomach, I highly recommend a filtered water bottle. This one in the picture here is the one I used. It's by the Brita brand. Sorry about my dog. You'll have to excuse me. The front door just flew open. I will be 2 seconds. We actually have a big windstorm in Niagara right now, so everything's kind of flip-flopping all over the place. But to re-encapsulate what I was saying, this is the Brita water bottle that I used. There is a filter in the straw, and I was actually filtering the bottled water because I was just a little nervous. So it was my best friend through the entire trip. It actually became a bit of a mascot of the group. The only thing I will say that I did not prepare for with this water bottle is that it is made out of stainless steel and or metal or something that isn't good in heat. So it was 45 degrees while I was there, and my water bottle was burning up. But the water inside was fine. However, it was a little bit uncomfortable to hold. So I will say, if you are going to go with a filtered water bottle, make sure it's plastic or something that can withstand the heat, because India is a very, very hot country close to the equator. And while this water bottle proved to be my best friend, it was a little bit uncomfortable to carry around with me. So that's suggestion number 1. Suggestion number 2, another personal thing that I like to do when I'm traveling, especially if you're having connecting flights. Air tags for important items. Have somewhere where your passport is, that you have an air tag there. Most important travel document anywhere. Make sure you have that secured. utilize the safes in the hotels, put all of your important items there, and make sure at every hotel you're going to, you're constantly checking on these important items anywhere you go. This just isn't India. This is, you know, South Florida, could be North Vancouver. Anywhere you go, just make sure you're taking that extra step of precaution to make sure that your important items and documents and money are being accounted for. Next, this one should be obvious, but wasn't to me. So I highly recommend bringing loose linen clothing. And as you can see in the picture here, I do have some lovely linen pants that my grandmother purchased for me, beautiful light scarf. However, when I went on the tiger safari, I brought a silk headscarf because I thought, oh, look how beautiful it is. It's going to, you know, tie so well with the outfit, and it's going to make me look great. And looking great's not what we're here to do, guys. We are here to experience the wildlife and the culture. And in doing that, you are living in these heat conditions, right? So silk holds heat. That is something that I should have had the common sense to know, but unfortunately didn't. So I brought a silk headscarf on my safari, and my head was dripping. So I ended up buying a cotton headscarf while I was there because I didn't prepare in that sense. So the cotton headscarf actually keeps things very airy, very flowy. And even though the sun is beating down on you, somehow layering yourself keeps you cool. So that is the third tip that I want to share with you guys. And the fourth tip, a little, you know, fun TMI moment, but bring Imodium. I think anybody from the Western world who isn't acclimatized to the foods in India, the spices and things like that, need to make sure that you're taking that extra healthcare precaution to, you know, avoid any unwanted mishaps. So those are my 4 tips on how to prepare if you would like to take this journey into this incredible country. Moving forward, the first and best, I think, time I had was the safari adventure. Now, I really didn't know what to expect going on this safari. I knew I'd be in a Jeep. I knew it would be hot, and that's kind of it. I assumed I was going to see a tiger, and quite luckily I did. As you can see in the picture there, I was graced by the presence of a mama tiger and her 2 cubs. So what an incredible experience to see. But it's not guaranteed. I mean, safaris, you have to remember that it's wildlife. There's animals living in their natural habitats. They're wandering around, they're finding water, they're hunting. As you can see in the far right picture, you have a crocodile there with his mouth open to ward off any, you know, unwanted predators like us. So I think that in going on a safari, something that you guys should be aware of is that you are experiencing wildlife at its core. You are not to disturb the wildlife, and the guides would do a very good job at making sure that everybody is safe. And an interesting fact that I didn't know until I went on my safari is why we stay in the Jeeps and not walk around. It seems obvious you don't want to be attacked by an animal, but the question is raised on why don't they attack us when we're in the Jeeps? I was asked this while I was on the safari, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to get attacked. And it's like, yeah, but the Jeeps apparently to them are seen as large animals. So when the tigers are walking in front of us, or we're all sitting around watching the tigers, they don't see us as a bunch of humans in a car. They just see a big structure and assume that it's a predator or an animal that could harm them. So they avoid us. But if you step out of that vehicle and they see a small, you know, little thing moving around, that's when they're going to attack. So there actually was a woman in a different truck while we were there that tried to get out. And the tour guide and the husband were like, no, don't. So just another safety precaution. I know none of us would probably want to get out of the vehicle, but it is something that some people think to do. So just know that the reason we don't is because they are scared of us in the vehicle. They are not when we are out. Another thing I would like to say about the safari is how emotional it was for me. I did not anticipate to feel so connected to the earth. and the world that we live in. There was a moment where we thought we weren't going to see any tigers, which, a little disappointing, but it happens. And if you look in the top middle picture there with the water, there was actually a group of tigers, two tigers actually, a pair that were sat on the other side of the lake. And they were so far away that you couldn't see them with the human eye. However, we had some binoculars and our phones to kind of zoom so we could see. And even seeing that, even though I wasn't witnessing them up close yet, I cried. I genuinely cried watching these magnificent animals just being and living and moving and loving each other and just relaxed. It was such an emotional moment for me because when we think of, especially tigers and stuff, I always think the zoo, trapped in cages, this and that. But to experience in this way was so, 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 so special. Something I'm going to take with me for the rest of my life as one of my top 3 moments. I mean, I'm only 25, so I've got a lot more moments coming, I hope. But this to me was just an indescribable experience. I'm at a loss for words right now and trying to explain. But it wasn't just the tigers, guys. As you can see, even the banyan tree at the very bottom picture there, that in itself, not a living animal, but a living specimen, just there was enough to draw emotion out of me. So if you're the type of person that gets really involved in our wildlife tours or loves to indulge in those, and this safari adventure is something that piques your interest, you are definitely going to love our India Tiger Safari next year. So keep that in mind. Moving forward, another aspect of the tour that I love to talk about is the people from India. The people there are just so loving, hardworking, kind, accepting, spiritual, magical people. They absolutely love interacting with tourists. As you can see, I've got 2 selfies there with a mother and her daughter that I met at one of the forts we were touring, as well as the pair of children there in the middle slide where I'm reaching my arms out. They're a bit shy, but I got a hug. I ended up giving one of the little boys my bracelet that I bought in one of the villages. They loved that. They ended up taking a group photo with me. So that was really, really special. The top left picture, you can see we were actually in one of the temples of worship where people were coming and praying to each different statue of the gods. And to see this little girl bowing her head in worship, it gave me some sort of, not hope, because I have hope always, but it made me feel glad to know that there are children in this world who indulge in their culture and indulge in their religion, and to be in a place like India where there's so much love and just respect oozing out of the locals. It was so, again, heartwarming to just be in that atmosphere, walking through the temples and seeing how dedicated these people are to their religion, and their culture is quite the spectacle. So that's why I think that top left picture there with the little girl bowing her head on the floor in worship, it just sparked something in me that's like, wow, this is still being taught and worshipped around the world. So that was super special. And in the far 2 right pictures, you can see a gentleman holding a block there on top of what looks to be like cloth, and some women sewing. That was actually in Dasktar village, which is a nonprofit NGO that's run in Rajasthan, which is a province in India. And these women and men handcraft these beautiful garments, sheets, blankets, anything you can make from fabric, really. I bought my mom a lovely apron for cooking that was all hand painted and hand sewn. And the work, the dedication, the detail that goes into these garments, this is fast fashion. This was made in a factory. And yes, I think it's pretty. It doesn't hold the same value to me as what I purchased at this property, because you know that every single line, every single stitch was put in with love and effort. And what the gentleman in the bottom right picture is actually doing is he has a block that's been carved out with designs. He'll dip it in the paint and hammer it with his hand onto the fabric over and over again to complete the pattern. And that to me is just wow, you don't really see that in North America that often at all. I mean, I've been here for 25 years and I've never witnessed clothing making like this. So it was just incredible to see how important culture is to these people, how important tourism is and diversity, how important hard work is. So those are the things that really captivated me when it came to interacting with the locals. Of course, this is the kind of draw in that most people, when they think of India, they think, oh, I'm going to go see the Taj Mahal. And of course, we ended up going there. The middle picture you can see there was the small group that I had the pleasure touring with. In the middle, in the yellow shirt, you'll see Shaurya. She was our amazing guide from LPTI, the Passage to India. And she had the pleasure of guiding us around and waking us up at 4 a.m. to see Taj Mahal at sunrise. But as you can see by the picture on the far left here, the sun peeking through behind the structure, it was, that's it. It was speechless. And when you're there, you can feel the religion, you can feel the people, you can feel the hard work that went into this. And it's almost like you don't want to speak while you're there because you don't want to disturb the atmosphere around you. And once we went into the Taj Mahal and did a little circle of the mosque, we went outside and just sat there and didn't speak and looked at it and took in every inch, every moment. And it was actually at the end of our journey that the last day we went to the Taj Mahal and we got the opportunity to sit, admire the beauty, and take in everything that we just went through. Because India is a very tumultuous place. There's lots going on. There's people everywhere. There's cows in the street. There's camels lugging trailers. There's always something going on. And when you get to the Taj Mahal, even though it's a high tourist area and there are going to be people there, but as you can see, I was graced with some beautiful pictures that didn't have any tourists in it. And there is so much opportunity to just sit and absorb. So I think that this was such a good way to end the tour because we were able, like I said, to really soak in what we just experienced, all the things we just saw, the people we met, the forts we went to, the temples we went to, the worshiping we did. It was simply incredible. And kind of going off on that point there, I'd love to talk about the culture as well. The pictures that you're seeing here are all of different temples, mosques, and prayer areas. Aside from the camel in the top right, I thought that was a little fun picture to show you guys because there are animals everywhere, not tigers, but you know, cows and camels and horses. So that was really cool to experience. But the structure and the prayer, and the bottom left picture, you'll see kind of a little temple hidden away in some trees. That was actually a small worship temple built in the middle of a bird sanctuary, a bird park. And I said to Shaurya, our tour guide, you know, out of all the big, luxurious, huge structures and temples that we went to, that little one tucked away in a bird sanctuary to me was the most touching. It was the most special because you knew it wasn't just built for mass worship. You knew that it was built with the intention of bringing the culture and the religion together in spaces that you typically wouldn't expect them to be. And Shaurya and I went in there. There was one gentleman who was sitting there praying. He took us through a specific small little ritual where we got to, you know, touch all the different religious monuments and things like that. And that to me was pretty incredible. Now in the top left picture, just above that, you'll see me meditating in the middle of, I believe it's Taragar Fort. That was in Bundi. Bundi was a tumultuous experience. I mean, something that you can never control in travel is weather. And there was rain. Rain was about to come. And I said, guys, let's, hop on one of the little bikes and drive there. And they said, no, let's walk. So we walked through the city of Bundi, and halfway through our 20-minute walk, it started to downpour. And I mean downpour in the sense that even a girl that lived in Ireland for 2 years couldn't handle the rain. So by the time we got there, I was soaked from head to toe. It was still 45 degrees Celsius. So I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, if there are any Americans here. But it was, I was a little bit offset. I was a little bit, uncomfortable. But as stepping into this temple, as stepping into this fort, I immediately was overtaken by a sense of protection, a sense of calm, a sense of tranquility. And I took the time to actually sit there and meditate and really, say to myself, what will be, what will come. And those are kind of the mantras that are just inherently in your mind when you're traveling through this destination, because there's so much of it that comes from the people around you and the structures around you. Speaking of the structures, the architecture in India is something that I was shocked by. I mean, coming from a country that isn't as developed as some places like in Europe or in North America, I knew there was the Taj Mahal, and I knew there was, some great things to be seen, but I didn't expect at what scope or how big these palaces, these forts were. And all handmade, hand-carved, everything. Even in the bottom left picture there, you can see I was inside of a mosque taking a picture of the fort through these marble fences almost. I don't even know how to describe them. Looking in the picture above that, you'll see 2 elephants that have been sculpted on top of this grandiose fort. And it's like, how long did this take? Who put this here? And there's lots of that around the world, but I was just absolutely taken aback by the detail and the structure and just even the vibes. It was just, you knew being there that so much time, effort, love, and energy was put into making it what it is. So I was very, very taken aback by the architecture as well. And I think you will too once you go. So that would be my highlights from this incredible journey. I want to thank Marianne and the Women's Travel Club for granting me this opportunity to go and see one of the most, I think, mysteriously beautiful countries in the world. These are a couple of my favorite pictures here. You'll see the sunset descending over Karauli, which is a beautiful, beautiful city. A little monkey running around. There are monkeys everywhere, by the way. I remember when I saw my first one on like the 3rd day of the tour, and I was like, oh my goodness, guys, it's a monkey. That's crazy. And they went, Ali, we're actually about to go into the fort that the Jungle Book designed the monkey palace off of. So you're about to get a lot of good pictures with a lot of monkeys. So that was something I was pleasantly surprised with. And yes, the big picture there of me, that's after I got downpoured on. So I really hope that you guys take the time to look into our India tours. And if you have any questions, even any concerns, logistical questions, please reach out. Our number, email, and website are there. However, I went to India just recently, and I'm on all of our social media platforms. So send a message to me. I'd love to talk about it. I'd love to talk to anybody who has time to listen. But yeah, so I really hope you guys enjoyed this presentation. A little bit different from our normal travel talks where I have somebody that I'm interviewing or speaking with. But today was just me. So I hope you enjoyed my rambling. I hope you enjoyed all of the pictures and the video. And again, this is recorded for rewatching. So if you want to hear about the promotions again, just zoom on back to the beginning of this video. And if you have any questions about those, please feel free to email, call, or text as well. So with that being said, thank you guys for taking the time to sit here with me and listen. And I really, really hope to see you on our India tours next year. Thank you.